Let me tell you something powerful right now. You don't get to control what happens to you, but you absolutely control how you respond. And your response is the difference between someone who merely survives and someone who dominates their life. Every morning when you wake up, you stand at a crossroads. You can choose to be the victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to be the creator of your life. The question is not whether you will face problems. You will. The question is, will you let those problems define you, or will you define them? So today, I want you to remember 6 things every single day. If you remember these and you live by them, your life will change. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, let's slow this down for a moment, because this is where everything begins, whether people realize it or not. You think your day is happening to you, but the truth is your day is happening through you. And if you want to live a life of power, purpose, and unstoppable momentum, you have to understand this one simple truth. You are in control of your day. Now, I know what you're thinking. Control my day? You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the chaos in my life. You don't know the stress, the problems, the people, the responsibilities. And you're right, I don't know all of it, but I know this. The moment you decide you're not going to let your circumstances control you, you've already won the battle. Because most people live their lives on autopilot. They let external events determine their mood, their energy, their decisions, and their actions. They wake up and immediately react. They respond to notifications, to news, to problems, to drama. And by the time the day is over, they're exhausted, overwhelmed, and disappointed, not because the day was hard, but because they didn't lead it. So here's the first thing you must remember every single day. You are in control of your day, not your boss, not your partner, not the economy, not your past, not your mistakes, not your fear. You have a choice in every moment. And this choice is what separates those who live a life of greatness from those who live a life of excuses. The people who win in life don't wait for the world to give them permission. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They don't wait until they feel motivated. They decide, they commit, they act, they lead their day with intention. Think about it. Every day you wake up, you get to choose the emotional state you want to live in. You can choose to be frustrated, angry, and resentful. You can choose to be overwhelmed and defeated, or you can choose to be calm, focused, and unstoppable. And I'm not talking about pretending. I'm not talking about faking it. I'm talking about consciously deciding the state you will live in, and then using your physiology, your breathing, your focus, and your language to make that state real. Because here's the key. Your physiology and your focus are the levers that control your state. If you want to feel powerful, stand tall. If you want to feel confident, breathe deeply. If you want to feel calm, slow your pace. If you want to feel motivated, think about what's at stake. If you want to feel love, remember someone who supported you. Your body doesn't lie. Your mind doesn't lie. The state you live in is a choice. And if you choose your state, you choose your day. Now, I want to challenge you to look at your morning routine, not just the habits you do, the way you start your day emotionally. Because the first 30 minutes of your day are like the seed you plant, and whatever you plant grows. If you start your day with anxiety, you will water anxiety all day. If you start your day with gratitude, you will water gratitude all day. If you start your day with fear, you will water fear all day. If you start your day with purpose, you will water purpose all day. And let me tell you something, your life is not built on the big moments. It's built on the small moments, the moments you don't even notice, the moments you think don't matter. But those moments matter the most, because those moments are the building blocks of your day. And your day is the building block of your life. So when you wake up, don't allow your day to be determined by the first message you receive, or the first email you see, or the first problem that hits you. Decide your state first. Decide your focus first. Decide your purpose first. Decide the meaning you will give to your day first. Because once you decide that, nothing can steal your power. Here's another truth. Most people ignore. You are not your circumstances. Your circumstances are just the backdrop. Your story is not written by what happens to you. It's written by how you respond to what happens to you. And the response is the power. That's why the most successful people in the world aren't the ones with the easiest lives. They're the ones with the strongest responses. They don't get crushed by adversity. They get activated by it. They don't become victims of their problems. They become victors over them. And it starts with the decision to control your day. I want you to understand something very clearly. The moment you stop reacting, you start creating. The moment you stop allowing external events to determine your mood, you start designing your life. The moment you stop giving your power away to circumstances, you reclaim your power. And that reclamation is the beginning of or transformation. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's simple. And there is a difference. It's simple because it's a basic principle of life. But it's not easy because most people are addicted to their old patterns. They're addicted to reacting. They're addicted to complaining. They're addicted to the drama. They're addicted to the story of why this happened to me. But that story doesn't create a future. It only creates a past. So here's what you do. You create a morning ritual that anchors you in power, something simple, something consistent, something that tells your mind, this is my day, I'm in control. It could be as simple as taking a deep breath and saying, today I choose my state. It could be a quick moment of gratitude. It could be a brief visualization of your goals. It could be a physical movement to get your blood flowing. But the point is this, you start the day with a decision. You start the day as the leader of your life. And once you do that, your day will never be the same. Because you'll begin to see that life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. You are the channel. You are the force. You are the driver. And the moment you realize that, you stop waiting for life to give you something. You start giving life something. You start taking action. You start creating momentum. You start building the life you want, one decision at a time. So remember this every day. You are in control of your day. And when you live that truth, you will no longer be a passenger in your life. You will be the pilot. Let's talk about something most people don't understand, even though it's the most powerful thing in their life. Your thoughts, your mind, the way you interpret reality. Because here's the brutal truth, your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are the engine that drives your life. And if you don't control them, they will control you. Now, I want you to listen carefully because this is where the entire game is won or low. Most people think the world is what it is. They believe their circumstances are the cause of their feelings, their results, and their identity. But the world is not the cause. Your thoughts are. Your mind is the filter. Your mind is the meaning maker. And the meaning you assign to anything is what determines your emotional state, your decisions, and your actions. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where someone said something small, something almost insignificant, and you felt your entire body react? Maybe your heart started racing. Maybe your mind started spiraling. Maybe you felt anger, shame, or fear, and then you wondered, why did that affect me so much? The answer is simple, because your mind gave it meaning. You interpreted it as a threat, an attack, or a judgment. And once your mind decides something, your body follows. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a thought you're having about a threat. It just reacts. That's why it's so important to understand that your thoughts are not harmless. They are not just mental chatter. They are the blueprint of your emotions. They are the seeds of your actions. They are the foundation of your results. And if you want to change your life, you must change your thinking. Here's the thing. Your thoughts create your reality. Not because your thoughts are magic, but because your thoughts create your focus, and your focus creates your behavior. And your behavior creates your results. It's a chain reaction. If you focus on scarcity, you will act like someone who is scarce. If you focus on fear, you will act like someone who is afraid. If you focus on lack, you will attract lack. If you focus on possibility, you will act like someone who believes in possibility. If you focus on growth, you will grow. You see, most people don't realize that they are living on autopilot. They are allowing their thoughts to run wild, and they think they have no choice. But you do have a choice. You can choose what you think about. You can choose the meaning you give to what happens. And when you choose your meaning, you choose your life. Let me tell you something else. Your thoughts are not your identity. They are not who you are. They are simply the mental patterns you've been repeating. And if those patterns are not serving you, you can change them. But the first step is awareness. You must become aware of the thoughts you are thinking, because you can't change what you don't see. So I want you to start paying attention to your inner dialogue. Notice the story you tell yourself. Notice the tone. Notice the words. Notice how often you say things like, I can't, I'm not enough, this is too hard, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve it, or it's not possible for someone like me. Those thoughts are not just thoughts. They are self-imposed limitations, and they are killing your potential. And here's the hard truth. You will never outperform your thinking. Why? You will never rise above the level of your mindset. Your thoughts are the ceiling. And if you want to break through, you must raise the ceiling. You must expand your thinking. You must change your internal narrative, because your life is a reflection of your inner world. Now, I want to challenge you to ask yourself a powerful question. What am I thinking right now that is keeping me stuck? Not what are the circumstances, not what are the external problems, but what is the thought that is creating your current reality? Because your thoughts are the origin of your feelings, and your feelings are the origin of your actions, and your actions are the origin of your results. So if you want a different result, you must start with a different thought. But don't confuse this with positive thinking. I'm not asking you to put a fake smile on your face and pretend everything is perfect. That's not the point. The point is to become aware of your thoughts, to challenge them, and to choose thoughts that serve you, to choose thoughts that empower you, to choose thoughts that create possibility. Because you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control the meaning you give to it. Here's a simple example. Someone criticizes you. Your first thought might be, they're right, I'm not good enough. And then you feel shame, you feel fear, you feel defeated, and you stop aching action. But what if you chose a different meaning? What if you thought, this is feedback, this is an opportunity to grow? Then you feel curiosity, you feel motivation, you feel strength, and you take action. Same event, different meaning, different outcome, different life. This is why the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thinking. And the quality of your thinking is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself, because your questions direct your focus, and your focus determines your reality. So ask yourself better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what if I succeed? Instead of asking, why am I not enough? Ask, what do I need to become enough? Those questions change your state. They change your focus. They change your life. And I want you to remember something else. Your mind is a tool. It's not a prison, but it becomes a prison. You let it run wild. You have the power to control it. You have the power to train it. You have the power to direct it. And when you do, you become unstoppable. So start today. Start now. Stop feeding your mind with negativity. Stop feeding it with fear. Stop feeding it with doubt. Stop feeding it with the story of your limitations. Instead, feed your mind with truth. Feed it with possibility. Feed it with courage. Feed it with faith in yourself. Feed it with the certainty that you can become more than you are today. And remember this, the thoughts you choose today will determine the person you become tomorrow. Your life is a reflection of the thoughts you consistently think. So choose your thoughts wisely, because your thoughts are shaping your reality, and your reality is shaping your destiny. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are the blueprint of your life. Let's talk about something most people completely misunderstand, and it's costing them their dreams, their relationships, and their health. They think success is about strategy or talent or luck. And yes, those things matter, but what matters most is energy, because energy is the currency of life. Energy is what fuels your performance. Energy is what makes you show up when nobody's watching. Energy is what keeps you going when the world is trying to stop you. And if you don't manage your energy, you will never manage your results. You see, people waste their time chasing time. They say, I don't have enough time. But time is not the problem. Time is the same for everyone. The difference is energy. Some people can get more done in 1 hour than others get done in a whole day, simply because their energy is high. And when your energy is high, your focus is sharp, your emotions are strong, your decisions are clear, and your actions are unstoppable. Now, energy is not just physical energy, it's emotional energy, it's mental energy, it's spiritual energy, and all of those parts have to be manag. If you're physically drained, your mind can't focus. If your emotions are unstable, your decisions become erratic. If you lack purpose, your energy fades. That's why the people who perform at the highest levels in life don't just work hard, they manage their energy. They know that their energy determines their performance, and their performance determines their results. So let me ask you something. How are you managing your energy? Because if you want to be unstoppable, you must become intentional about it. You must take responsibility for it. You must become the CEO of your own life. And the first step is understanding that your body is not a machine. It's a living system. It needs fuel, it needs rest, it needs movement, it needs nutrition, it needs sleep, it needs connection, it needs meaning. And if you ignore those needs, your energy will collapse. Let me give you an example. Have you ever noticed that when you're tired, everything feels harder? When you're tired, you're emoji. Ons are more intense. When you're tired, your focus is weak. When you're tired, your willpower is low. And when your willpower is low, you make bad decisions. You choose instant gratification, you choose comfort, you choose avoidance, and you wonder why your life isn't changing. It's because your energy is low. Energy is the foundation of discipline. Discipline is not something you summon from nowhere. Discipline is a result of your energy. If your energy is high, discipline is easy. If your energy is low, discipline is impossible. That's why the most successful people in the world don't just talk about discipline. They talk about recovery. They talk about rest. They talk about balance, because they know that if you want to win the long game, you have to manage your energy like a champion. And here's another thing. Your energy is contagious. It spreads. It affects everyone around you. When you walk into a room with high energy, people feel it. When you walk into a room with low energy, people feel that too. Your energy influences your relationships. Your energy influences your work. Your energy influences your results. So you must protect it. You must guard it. You must become aware of what drains you and what fuels you, because most people don't realize how much energy they waste on things that don't matter. They waste energy on negative thoughts. They waste energy on drama. They waste energy on toxic people. They waste energy on worry. They waste energy on things they cannot control. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, depressed, or stuck. You can't build a powerful life when you're constantly draining your energy on the wrong things. So let me ask you, what are you feeding your energy with? Are you feeding it with nourishing thoughts? Are you feeding it with healthy habits? Are you feeding it with positive relationships? Are you feeding it with purpose? Or are you feeding it with distractions, addictions, and negativity? Energy is like a bank account. You have deposits and withdrawals. If you make more withdrawals than deposits, you go bankrupt. And that's what happens to most people. They keep withdrawing energy from their body and mind, and they never deposit enough back. They keep working, and they forget to rest. They keep pushing, and they forget to recover. And eventually they burn out. Their health collapses, their relationships suffer, their performance drops, and they wonder why their life isn't working. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can take control of your energy. You can become intentional about it. You can create a life where you are not constantly drained, but constantly energized. And that starts with the way you live each day. Here's the key. You must create rituals that recharge you. You must create habits that fuel you. You must create a lifestyle that supports your energy, because energy is not something that happens to you. It's something you create. And it starts with your body. Move your body. Your body was built to move. When you move, you release endorphins. You increase your blood flow. You increase your oxygen. You increase your mental clarity. You increase your mood. You increase your power. You become alive. And when you are alive, you perform at a higher level. Then you must fuel your body with the right nutrition. I'm not saying you need to be perfect, but you need to be intentional. You need to understand that what you eat affects how you feel. If you eat junk, you will feel junk. If you eat nourishing food, you will feel powerful. If you eat sugar and processed food, your energy will spike and crash. If you eat real food, your energy will stay steady. And steady energy is what creates consistency. And you must prioritize sleep. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Sleep is when your body repairs. Sleep is when your brain consolidates memory. Sleep is when your hormones balance. Sleep is when your energy is restored. And if you are not sleeping enough, you are not performing at your full potential. You are not living at your full potential. You are not becoming the person you are capable of becoming. But energy is not just physical. You must also manage your emotional energy, because your emotions are powerful. Your emotions drive your decisions. Your emotions drive your actions. Your emotions determine the quality of your relationships. So you must become aware of your emotional state. You must learn to shift it. You must learn to control it, because you cannot perform at a high level if your emotional energy is low, and you must manage your mental energy. Your mind is constantly processing. You are constantly being bombarded with information. And if you allow your mind to be scattered, your energy will be scattered. You must focus your mind. You must direct your attention. You must choose what you consume, because your mind is not a trash can. It is a sacred instrument, and you must protect it. Finally, you must manage your spiritual energy. You must connect to something bigger than yourself. You must have a purpose. You must have a reason, because without purpose, energy fades. Without meaning, motivation dies. Without a reason, you will give up when things get hard. But when you have a purpose, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature. You become someone who can endure anything. So remember this, energy is your most valuable asset. If you want to win in life, you must manage your energy. You must protect it. You must nurture it. You must fuel it. You must recharge it, because your energy is what creates your performance, and your performance is what creates your results. Your energy is your life. Let's get real about something most people misunderstand, because it's the difference between a life that happens to you and a life you build. Most people think their destiny is determined by their circumstances. They think it's determined by the cards they were dealt, the opportunities they missed, the people who didn't support them, the economy or the world around them. And yes, those things matter, but they don't determine your destiny. Your decisions do. Your decisions are the power. Your decisions are the engine. Your decisions are the difference between someone who talks about their dreams and someone who lives them, because your decisions are not just small moments. They are the building blocks of your life. They are the moments that define who you are. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you want to become. And if you keep making the same decisions, you will keep becoming the same person. Think about it. The reason people don't have what they want is not because they lack resources. It's because they lack consistent decisions. They decide to quit. They decide to procrastinate. They decide to settle. They decide to avoid discomfort. They decide to live in the story of their limitations. And those decisions, repeated over time, become their identity. They become the person who never follows through. They become the person who never takes risks. They become the person who never steps into their power. But here's the truth. Your destiny is not determined by what happens to you. It's determined by how you respond, and your response is your decision. So if you want to change your life, you must start making different decisions, not someday, not when you feel ready, not when you have more time, today, right now. Now, I want to challenge you to look at the decisions you make every day, because most people underestimate the power of daily decisions. They think the big decisions are the ones that matter. But it's the small decisions that shape your life. The decision to get up early, the decision to exercise, the decision to eat healthy, the decision to show up, the decision to be disciplined, the decision to say no to distractions, the decision to keep going when it's hard, the decision to choose growth instead of comfort. Those are the decisions that create the life you want. Your decisions define your destiny because they determine your direction. Every decision is a step. And if you keep taking steps in the wrong direction, you will end up in the wrong place. But if you keep taking steps in the right direction, you will eventually reach your destination. It's that simple and it's that powerful. But let's be honest, decisions are not always easy. Decisions are often uncomfortable. Decisions require courage. Decisions require sacrifice. Decisions require you to face fear. And that's why most people avoid making them. They want the comfort of staying where they are. They want the safety of staying in the familiar. They want the excuse of waiting for the perfect moment. But there is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide to step forward. And the moment you decide, everything changes. Because when you decide, you create momentum. When you decide, you become unstoppable. When you decide, you stop being a victim. You become a creator. You become the leader of your life. So here's what you need to understand. You don't need motivation to make a decision. You need clarity. You need certainty. You need a reason that is bigger than your fear, because fear will always show up. Fear will always try to stop you. Fear will always whisper, what if you fail? Fear will always say, what if you're not good enough? Fear will always tell you to stay safe, but you don't need to be fearless. You just need to be decisive. You need to decide despite the fear. You need to decide that your dream is bigger than your fear. And the decision is not just a one-time thing. Decisions are continuous. You decide every day. You decide with your habits. You decide with your actions. You decide with your focus. You decide with your words. You decide with your emotions. Your decisions are everywhere. And the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your decisions. Now, I want to talk about something most people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Your decisions are your responsibility. You cannot blame others for your choices. You cannot blame your past. You cannot blame your environment. You cannot blame your upbringing, because the moment you take responsibility for your decisions, you take responsibility for your life. And that is the moment you become powerful. You see, when you blame others, you give away your power. You give away your control. You become a victim. But when you take responsibility, you become the leader. You become the person who can change anything. You become the person who can create your future. You become the person who can transform your life. So I want you to ask yourself a powerful question. What decisions have I been avoiding? What decisions have I been putting off? What decisions have I been afraid to make? And why? Because those decisions are the doors to your destiny. Those decisions are the opportunities that are waiting for you. Those decisions are the steps you must take to become the person you are meant to be. And once you make those decisions, you must commit to them. You must follow through, because decisions without action are just dreams, and dreams without action are just illusions. If you decide to change your life, you must take action. You must do something. You must move. You must keep moving, because progress is the result of consistent decisions. And consistent decisions are the result of a strong identity. And your identity is built by the decisions you make. So remember this, your decisions define your destiny. Not your circumstances, not your past, not your excuses, your decisions. And if you want to create a life of power, a life of purpose, a life of fulfillment, you must start making decisions that align with your goals. You must start making decisions that reflect the person you want to become. You must start making decisions that honor your dreams, because your destiny is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. And your choice is the beginning of your transformation. Your decisions define your destiny. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear, but they need to hear. They want to be great. They want to be successful. They want to be unstoppable. But they're waiting for the perfect moment. They're waiting for the perfect plan. They're waiting until they feel ready. And that's the problem, because readiness is a myth. Perfection is a myth. And the longer you wait for them, the more your life becomes a story of someday. Here's the truth. Progress beats perfection every single time. Not because perfection is bad, but because perfection is impossible. You can chase perfection your whole life and never arrive. You can wait for the perfect conditions your whole life and never start. And in the meantime, your dreams die, your potential fades, your life becomes a slow fade into regret. The people who win in life are not the people who are perfect. They are the people who are consistent. They are the people who show up even when they don't feel like it. They are the people who keep going even when the results are not immediate. They are the people who understand that greatness is built in the small daily actions, not in the big rare moments. Think about it. What do you remember more? The day you felt motivated and inspired? Or the day you showed up? When you were tired, when you were scared, when you wanted to quit? The truth is, the day you showed up is the day you became stronger. The day you kept going is the day you built your future. The day you took one more step is the day you proved to yourself that you are not defined by your feelings, you are defined by your actions. Progress beats perfection because progress is real. Progress is measurable. Progress is tangible. Perfection is an illusion. And when you chase perfection, you often end up doing nothing because you're waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right conditions, the right level of confidence. But the right moment is never going to come. The right mood is never going to come. The right conditions are never going to come. You have to create your moment. You have to create your mood. You have to create your conditions. And you do that through consistent action. Let me ask you something. What have you been postponing because you think you're not ready? What have you been delaying because you think you need to be perfect first? What dream have you been putting on hold because you don't feel prepared, and how long are you willing to wait? Because the longer you wait, the more your confidence fades, the more your fear grows, the more your doubt becomes a habit. And before you know it, you're living a life that you didn't choose. You must understand that progress is not about doing everything perfectly. Progress is about doing something every day that moves you forward. It's about taking consistent steps. It's about building momentum. And momentum is what creates results. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Consistency is the key that unlocks your potential. Consistency is what turns small actions into massive results. Consistency is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary people. Because the person you become is not determined by one moment. It's determined by the repeated actions you take. It's determined by the habits you build. It's determined by the decisions you make every day. And here's the thing, consistency is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not dramatic. It's not something you see in movies. It's not something that gets applause. But consistency is the foundation of success. It's the boring part of greatness. It's the part that nobody wants to talk about, but it's the part that matters. So if you want to be successful, you must fall in love with the process. You must fall in love with the daily grind. You must fall in love with the discipline, because that's what builds your future. That's what builds your character. That's what builds your confidence. That's what builds your destiny. And here's the best part. Progress is contagious. Once you start making progress, you will want more progress. Once you start seeing results, you will want more results. Once you start feeling the momentum, you will want to keep going. And that's when your life begins to change. But you have to start. You have to begin. You have to take the first step. And you have to keep taking steps, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when the results aren't visible yet, because the results are coming. They are coming. You just have to keep going. Let me be clear. Progress does not mean you won't fail. Progress does not mean you won't make mistakes. Progress means you keep going despite the mistakes. Progress means you learn. Progress means you adjust. Progress means you grow. Progress means you don't let failure define you. You let failure teach you. You let failure fuel you. You let failure strengthen you. So stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Start now. Start imperfectly. Start with what you have. Start with what you know. Start with the small steps and keep going, because the truth is progress beats perfection, and progress is the only thing that will get you where you want to go. Progress beats perfection. Let's talk about something that's simple, yet most people completely underestimate: gratitude. Most people think gratitude is just a feeling you have when things are going well. They think gratitude is something you do when you're already successful, when your life is already perfect, when everything is already in place. But that's not gratitude. That's a reward. That's a celebration. That's not the real power. Real gratitude is something you practice even when life is messy. Real gratitude is something you choose even when you don't feel like it. Real gratitude is a decision. And it's one of the most powerful decisions you can make, because gratitude changes your state. And your state changes your results. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a weapon, it's a tool, it's a force that can transform your life. Because here's the truth, your brain is wired to look for problems. It's wired to scan for threats. It's wired to focus on what's wrong. That's how humans survived for thousands of years. But that wiring can also keep you trapped in a cycle of negativity. It can keep you stuck in a loop of complaining. It can keep you stuck in a mindset of lack. And if you stay there long enough, it becomes your default reality. It becomes the way you see the world. It becomes the way you live. But gratitude interrupts that cycle. Gratitude shifts your focus. Gratitude changes your physiology. Gratitude changes your nervous system. Gratitude tells your brain, look at what's working, look at what's good, look at what you have. And when you do that, your energy changes, your emotions change, your decisions change, your actions change, and your life changes. You see, gratitude is the doorway to power. When you are grateful, you are not afraid. When you are grateful, you are not resentful. When you are grateful, you are not stuck in the past. When you are grateful, you are not wasting energy on what you don't have. Instead, you are focused on what you do have. And that focus creates momentum. That focus creates strength. That focus creates resilience. And I want you to understand something very clearly. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about denying your pain. It's not about ignoring your struggles. It's about acknowledging what is true and choosing to focus on what empowers you. You can be grateful and still be hungry for more. You can be grateful and still be ambitious. You can be grateful and still be striving. Because gratitude is not the opposite of ambition. Gratitude is the foundation of ambition. Gratitude is what gives you the clarity to see what you want, the strength to go after it. Let me say you something. When you are grateful, what happens to your mindset? When you are grateful, what happens to your emotions? When you are grateful, what happens to your energy? You feel lighter. You feel stronger. You feel more confident. You feel more alive. You feel more connected. You feel more powerful. Gratitude opens your heart. Gratitude opens your mind. Gratitude opens your possibilities. And here's the thing. Gratitude is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you choose. You can choose gratitude even when things are hard. You can choose gratitude even when you are facing pain. You can choose gratitude even when you feel like you've been treated unfairly. Because gratitude is not about your circumstances. It's about your perspective. It's about your ability to find meaning. It's about your ability to find the gift in the challenge. Because every challenge has a gift. Every pain has a lesson. Every setback has an opportunity. And when you can see your life changes. Your suffering becomes fuel. Your struggle becomes strength. Your pain becomes purpose. And that is the power of gratitude. Now, I want you to understand something else. Gratitude is not just a mental practice. It's a physical practice. When you are grateful, your body changes, your breathing changes, your heart rate changes, your hormones change, your nervous system changes. You become more calm. You become more centered. You become more focused. You become more present. And when you are present, you can perform at a higher level. You can make better decisions. You can handle stress. You can handle pressure. You can handle anything. That's why the most successful people in the world practice gratitude. Not because they are naive, not because they are blind to reality, but because they understand that gratitude is the key to sustaining their power. Gratitude is what keeps them grounded. Gratitude is what keeps them humble. Gratitude is what keeps them hungry. Attitude is what keeps them connected. And I want to challenge you to start practicing gratitude every day. Not just when you feel like it, not just when things are going well, but every day. Because gratitude is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the more your life transforms. So how do you practice gratitude? It's simple. You start by noticing what you have. You start by acknowledging the blessings in your life. You start by appreciating the people who support you. You start by appreciating the opportunities you've been given. You start by appreciating the lessons you've learned. You start by appreciating your strength. You start by appreciating your growth. You start by appreciating the simple things. The air you breathe, the sun on your face, the ability to move, the ability to love, the ability to dream. And when you start doing that, you will notice something incredible. You will start to attract more of what you are grateful for. Because gratitude is like a magnet. When you are grateful, you attract more blessings. When you are grateful, you become a person who sees opportunity. When you are grateful, you become a person who takes action. When you are grateful, you become a person who believes in themselves. And when you believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. But let me be clear. Gratitude is not a substitute for action. Gratitude is not a way to avoid responsibility. Gratitude is not a way to stay comfortable. Gratitude is a way to fuel your growth. Gratitude is a way to strengthen your spirit. Gratitude is a way to keep your heart open while you pursue your dreams. Because you can be grateful and still be hungry. You can be grateful and still be ambitious. You can be grateful and still be relentless. So remember this, gratitude unlocks your power. Gratitude opens the door to your potential. Gratitude gives you clarity. Gratitude gives you strength. Gratitude gives you resilience. Gratitude gives you peace. Gratitude gives you power. And when you practice gratitude every day, you will begin to see your life in a completely different way. You will begin to see that you are not alone. You will begin to see that you are supported. You will begin to see that you are capable. You will begin to see that you are worthy. And when you see that, your life will change. Gratitude unlocks your power.